Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered if you could survive if you were suddenly dropped into the middle of the wilderness with nothing but the clothes on your back? It sounds like the plot of a movie, right? But our ancestors lived this reality every single day. For them, it wasn't about survival, it was just life. Today, we're rediving deep into the Stone Age to rediscover the incredible skills that kept humanity going for millennia. These aren't just historical curiosities. They're powerful lessons in resilience, resourcefulness, and our deep connection to the natural world. So, get ready to unleash your inner cavemen as we explore the essential survival lessons from the Stone Age. First up, the absolute foundation of survival: shelter. Before houses, before tents, there's the simple need to get out of the rain and away from predators. Early humans were masters of improvisation. They didn't build elaborate log cabins. They used what nature provided: a natural rock overhang, a small cave, or even a dense thicket of bushes could become a life-saving home. The key was observation. They learned to read the landscape, to see a fallen tree not as an obstacle, but as a potential roof beam or a windbreak. They would weave branches and thatch them with large leaves or bark to create surprisingly waterproof and insulated linen. This teaches us a vital lesson. Your most important survival tool is your mind. It's about looking at your environment and asking, how can this help me? Instead of focusing on what you lack. The next time you're on a hike, try to spot potential natural shelters. You'll be surprised at what you find. Okay, so you have a roof over your head, but the sun is setting, and it's getting cold. What's next? Fire. Fire was the Stone Age equivalent of the internet, television, and the kitchen stove, all rolled into one. It provided warmth, protection from predators, a way to cook food, and a central point for community. But without a lighter or matches, how did they do it? They became masters of friction. The most famous method is the hand drill, a simple spindle of hardwood spun rapidly against a softwood fireboard. The friction creates a tiny, glowing ember in a pile of fine, dry tinder. This ember is then carefully transferred to a tinder bundle, a bird's nest of fluffy material like dried grass, dead bark, or cattail fluff, and gently blown into flame. It sounds simple, but it requires immense patience, the right materials, and a whole lot of practice. The lesson here is about persistence and preparation. Finding the right wood and preparing your tinder takes time. You can't just rush it. It's a powerful reminder that some of the most essential things in life require effort and dedication. With shelter and a warm fire, our ancestors could focus on the next critical need. Water. We can only survive a few days without it, so finding a safe source was a top priority. They couldn't just turn on a tap. They had to learn to read the signs of the land. Following animal tracks downhill often led to a stream or spring. They looked for patches of lush, green vegetation, which indicated water close to the surface. They even learned to collect morning dew from leaves. But finding water was only half the battle. They had to know if it was safe. They observed animals. If animals were drinking from a source, it was likely safe. They also used their senses, smelling the water for any foul odors and looking for clarity. If in doubt, their mastery of fire provided the ultimate purification method: boiling. This ancient wisdom is still the most reliable way to make water safe to drink in the wild today. It underscores the importance of being observant and using one problem solution to solve another. Now, let's talk about food. Our Stone-Aged ancestors were the original foragers. They had an encyclopedic knowledge of their local environment, passed down through generations. This wasn't just about finding berries. It was a deep understanding of botany. They knew which plants were edible, which were medicinal, and, most importantly, which were poisonous. They knew the seasons when to harvest nuts, when roots were at their most nutritious, and when fruits would ripen. They'd dig for starchy tubers, gather leafy greens, and collect protein-rich insects. This wasn't random snacking. It was a systematic, knowledge-based way of life. The survival lesson for us is profound. Knowledge weighs nothing. Taking the time to learn about the edible plants in your own region is an invaluable skill. Even learning to identify just 5 reliable wild edibles can fundamentally change your relationship with the outdoors and provide a safety net. In an emergency, it's about seeing the world not just as scenery, but as a pantry. Of course, foraging was supplemented by hunting and fishing. This required another incredible set of skills. They crafted tools from stone, bone, and wood. A simple piece of flint could be nabbed into a razor-sharp knife or an arrowhead. A sturdy branch could become a throwing stick or a spear. They were expert trackers, able to read the story of the forest floor from a bent blade of grass or a faint hoofprint. They understood animal behavior, their migration patterns, their habits, and their habitats. Hunting wasn't just about brute force. It was about intelligence, stealth, and immense patience. Often, it was a group effort, requiring coordination and communication. They used every part of the animal meat for food, the hide for clothing and shelter, the bones for tools, and the sinew for cordage. This no-tutelle approach demonstrates a deep respect for the resources they had. Nothing was wasted. This is perhaps one of the most important lessons of all. Sustainability and respect for nature. It's a mindset that we could certainly use more of in our modern world. So, what can we take away from all this? The skills of our Stone Age ancestors were about more than just surviving. They were about thriving in harmony with their environment. They teach us the importance of observation, patience, and resourcefulness. They show us that our greatest tool is our own mind, and that the natural world is not something to be conquered, but a partner to be understood and respected. Learning even a few of these basic skills, how to build a simple shelter, how to find water, or how to identify an edible plant can build incredible confidence and it reconnects us to a fundamental part of our human heritage. So I encourage you, get outside, get curious, and maybe even try your hand at a new, ancient skill. You might just discover a more resilient and capable version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. I hope it's inspired you to look at the world around you a little differently. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about wilderness skills and our amazing history, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more adventures. Let me know in the comments which Stone Age skill you'd want to learn first. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.